What's happening in the canine industry? For all the latest news, views, and expert opinions, stay right here for the Canine Paradigm. You'll hear from industry leaders, experts, doyens of the industry, learned colleagues, movers and shakers, and the odd randy guest. Get the latest insights and expert advice from both here and abroad from the people in the know. Now, here are your hosts, Glenn Cook and Pat Stewart. And I'm Lofty Fulton, and I'm out of here.
Glenda?
Yes.
We have to do a new ad.
We do.
It's a solemn time. Mm-hmm. Our long-time sponsor of the show, George Kittredge,
Yes.
very, very sadly passed away. And we formerly used to advertise for him his Rowdy Hound boxes.
We did.
So we don't actually know what's happened with Rowdy Hound boxes. You know anything about that?
I looked at the website. It said that they're recalibrating since their founder and boss has passed. But nonetheless, I think that you and I want to honour the memory of George Kittredge anyway. He was a friend to both of us, a hell of a good guy, and he supported us almost immediately. He was on board through and through, and I just don't want any of us to forget George. He was a terrific human being.
So we intend to continue to advertise Rowdy Hound, even though we don't know what's going on with them.
Yep.
In the hopes that they keep going, and that can be a bit of George's legacy that we're able to continue to promote.
I hope so.
In checking it out, we had a look to see, because we're not real good with the sponsorship. So we had a look to see who's actually paying for sponsorship. And we have a list of people to tell you that we support. And the first is our sugar mama, Barbara de Groot.
She's been with us from the start as well. Barbara's been an absolute staple in our...
She's a gem.
She is a gem.
She has a business.
She does. From the Heart Dog Training.
From the Heart Dog Training.
Yep.
You can check it out. But she supports us as much and more than anybody ever has. So we appreciate you very much, Barbara. Another person who's supported us from the start.
The Einzelwiener.
Einzelwiener.
The Bullfed.
The Bullfed.
Yep.
It's where I get all my stuff.
Yeah.
It is, truly. It's where I get all my dog gear. If I need something, Jason's my first point of call. I don't use his shit website. He has a website. It's dog shit. I just message him directly. You guys probably should use his shit website, but I don't.
Yeah, because you don't want to message him directly and get his grumpy ire of the day.
Yeah, but do it. Get all your dog stuff from Jason. He's got everything you need. He's got all the shit that you need to train a dog for realty.
Everybody who comes to seminars and looks at meals and asks me meals questions, ask Jason.
Yeah.
Jason can point you in the right direction for getting the meal that's best suited for you.
I really like his leashes. I'm a big fan of his leash pack. That's why I sort of convinced him to do it. But anyway, get your stuff from Einzelwiener.
Yep.
Do you know who has a fantastic website and ships internationally?
My wife?
Your wife,
Yeah.
Canine Pharmaceuticals.
I couldn't imagine her not having a good website, how much of a perfectionist she is.
Well, the products are amazing. My dog merely being alive is a walking testimonial to that. My dog, who I've retired numerous times and has come out of retirement when I've managed to get his body back to healthy, and a big part of that is related to Canine Pharmaceuticals. So check it out, everybody.
I could say so many nice and biased things about Canine Pharmaceuticals and my wife, but what I will say is ignore me. Just look at testimonials. The testimonials speak for themselves. That's where the field trials are working. What makes Narelle's day, and mine as well, is when people are emailing in and sending messages of, well, primarily people have had no hope in the past because just everything that they were trying wasn't working, and now it is. And that is the testament that something is actually really working. And the other thing which I will add, one of the things that Narelle's told me in the past is dogs are incapable of understanding the placebo effect.
Oh, that's a good point.
So you can fake it on a human, but you can't fake it on a dog.
I never thought about that before. That's actually a really good point.
Well, my wife's actually a very smart person.
There you go.
So she's told me that humans are subject to the placebo effect where dogs are not. So it either works or it doesn't on dogs.
There you go. That makes total sense.
Yep.
There's one other person who puts a fair amount of work into this show.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah. Funny about that.
And I have a digital product that you can buy. If you go to my website, seriousdogbusiness.com, right now I've got 2 courses available to you. The Overview, which is a small course where you could learn how I teach.
Yep.
But the other one is the Wave Tops, which is a bigger course. It's everything I know about dog training. Well, it's not everything. It's a lot of what I know about dog training.
Yeah,
Check it
terrific.
out.
Yeah.
$500 dues. That's all it's going to cost you.
I recommend it when people are saying, what do I do? How do I get in the industry? I recommend them to your course.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks,
Yeah.
sir. All right, on with the show. Welcome back to the Canine Paradigm. I'm your host, Pat Stewart. I'm joined today by my co-host, Glenn Cook. And sitting right next to him, though, is our sometimes co-host, Birdy O'Sheedy. Birdy, welcome back to the show.
Hi.
Hello.
Back again. You've only been gone a week.
Bit more, but yes, it's nice to be back regularly. Thank you.
It's good to have you here. What's going on?
It's great to have her here. She's staying up at my place again. She's got her own bird bedroom now.
I do. And it's so luxurious because I have my own bathroom. I look outside the window. I see a mob of kangaroos and chickens. And yeah, it's very, very nice. I love coming here. It's such a nice place. Thank you.
Let's clarify that for the audience so that they know what's going on. You've gone to Glenn's place
At Narelle's
for a
place.
work holiday, right? Like Glenn and Narelle's place to just remove yourself from your own work-life space, because I think it's a great idea. I kind of do a similar thing sometimes in that you just end up in your own routine and it can be very difficult to create something new from within something old. So you sometimes need, in order for, like it's certainly been my experience that in order to spark growth usually comes from chaos. And so changing your environment, getting out of your life, changing your normal routine that you're in forces you to think differently, do things differently. So you just are at Glenn's place for a few days working, right? Just building
I
a
am.
new
I mean, we
platform.
also have lovely dinners and we hang out at nighttime. But yeah, it's basically my life is very busy. Like I don't know if people know, but I'm also involved in a Kung Fu school. So I'm running a psychology practice. I'm helping run a Kung Fu school. I have big family. And it's just so busy that it's really hard to get into a flow state and just create and just push things out, like just do things. And I honestly am a huge believer in the more you surround yourself with people you look up to and respect and, can learn from, the better you will be. And so that's what I'm doing.
So you've just outed me because I've told a bunch of people in my personal life, but they would be listening to the show, like people I know for realsies, that I go to a Kung Fu school. And everybody looks at me. Everybody looks at me like, "What, you're learning Kung Fu?" And I'm like, "No. I'm not going to 1-inch punch someone. This isn't McDojo life. Like I'm not. I'm not thinking I'm going to create an energy ball and shoot it across the room and have people fall over like those. Remember that video that gets around of the guy on the beach? No, it's not that. What I do there, it's Birdy's Kung Fu school that I go to, and
It's not mine, Aaron's, but yes.
Well, yeah, Aaron, but you're the one you're involved with, and it's what I get from that, and what you're involved in there is the spirituality, energy work, meditation type stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do Wing Chun there and I do Qigong there, but I think we do a lot of hermetics there as well. So yeah, no, it's really fun and cool, and I think it's like Glenn has seen the Kung Fu school too.
I have.
Yeah,
yes.
You've been there too.
Yeah, I used to do Kung Fu many years
Wing
ago.
Chun.
Yeah, Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Yes,
I did it in
Cinnamtown.
Victoria. It's a wonderful discipline. It's a
Lovely.
wonderful in-close fighting style, and just the philosophy behind it and the practice of it is quite meditative. I really enjoyed my time there. I loved it. I loved the people that I trained with, and to be honest, I probably would have stayed with them had I not moved to New South Wales. I really enjoyed my time there. And if you were a lot closer, it would be great to come and join your school too.
Yeah, 100%. Like we just hosted on Saturday a worldwide seminar how to keep your kids safe from strangers, like stranger danger awareness. So we do a lot of community work in the Kung Fu school. We see Kung Fu more as a lifestyle. Like we probably in the Kung Fu school don't produce like warriors that compete. It's more like dads and moms showing up for various reasons, and we have lots of kids classes. So it's more as a, how do you have a strong back like a warrior, but have the mindset of with an open heart and really present peace in the world. And I think, you're a good representation of peace if you also can handle pressure, especially against yourself. So it's a very holistic mindset.
Hang on. Wait a second. Are you saying that if you have a balanced perspective, you can be a better overall person?
Yes.
Go. That was training. You heard it. So back on topic, you're up at Glenn's place because you're working on stuff, and we can talk about what you're working on because last time you were there, we talked about the opening bit, and people have been reaching out to you. So give us the rundown, like catch us up on what's happened since last time you were on, and what's been happening with people getting in touch with you in the magic of dogs.
Well, I got to interrupt quickly because the last time Birdy was here, her home in the Blue Mountains got devastated by a sudden windstorm, and
crazy winds,
destroyed a lot of
storms.
property and damaged a lot of the Kung Fu school, their storage facilities and so forth. So Birdy was supposed to stay here for like
a couple of days.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 days or something like that, and end up like she drove all the way down here We had a meal, did the podcast, and she pretty much had to pack up and go home.
So all the work time that you had allocated, we just used to like, hey, Birdy, come on the podcast. No one's heard from you in a long time.
It was the right thing because
and then we plugged the thing that you didn't actually have time to then make.
No, it was, as I've said in the past, it was my unneatest launch of anything. Like normally I'm quite prepared. I wasn't prepared at all, but it was beautiful. And over 120 people now have the Happy Dog Rituals PDF that I've created for free, and they have reached out. And I got such lovely feedback. Like, I love the Canine Paradigm community. Like, I love you guys so much because the emails I'm getting every morning is a highlight of my day. Like, you're telling me how much closer you feel to your dog, how much more regulated you are, that you can see that now you have a rhythm in your day. And it's just so, so joyous to see that, you know, the awareness that the Happy Dog Rituals bring makes a change in your life. And that makes me so happy.
Got any specifics? Hit us with like any specific ones.
So I tell you what most people said. The most commonly noticed benefits are that they notice a happier, calmer dog with less stress and more trust between the relationship if they've done it for a while. Like they can see their relationship has more stability. Their connection is more in sync. Like they have less friction, like it's less frizzy. They're just calmer and they make better decisions because I do coaching too. Like some of the people reached out for one-on-one coaching to do the Happy Dog Rituals. And, you know, then we can really sharpen them up. And what we notice a lot is how often dog owners are on autopilot. They're actually not present with their dog. You know, they just follow their task list or the things they have to do. And they forget that their dog is a soul companion and is there to be in relationship with them. And so they either over touch the dog, you know what I mean? Like when you're constantly all over them. And so they, or some people have just such an enmeshed life with their dog that there is no independence either way. The dog doesn't have much independence and downtime and the human doesn't get much time away. So if we look from a relationship perspective, it's too enmeshed, like too codependent. So it's about creating space and autonomy again. That was part of some coaching. But also what's really interesting is that they notice their dog from a different perspective, like they're curious about their dog again. Like instead of just having them there, they're kind of taking note of their personality. And they just like the rituals behind it. And some people are really into the science of it all. And they want to know quite a lot about, you know, what does it actually do on a biological, neurological level.
I just want to add there too that last night at dinner, Birdy made us a beautiful Thai dinner last night, which I'm just going to throw in there. But
I thought you were going to talk about the mud cake. I thought the mud cake was Thai.
The mud cake was amazing. I didn't want to burn everybody in one go. What I did want to add there was that you were telling us over dinner that the vast majority of the people that you're seeing is a male audience.
Yes, and I love that because but the majority were women I attracted. And now I have a really good, healthy male pool in my client base, which I love because I still want to hear the benefits from it all. And, you know, women have a certain lens on and guys have a certain lens on. And I love that I have more diversity in it. Like, I really like it.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's nice to hear that some of the male audience are reaching out about it because males can be funny about this sort of stuff sometimes. They don't like sharing vulnerability and they, you know, like they're happy to do the cool dog stuff, but then they won't talk about all of the other I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about a majority of the guys that I know. They don't really like talking about the lovey-dovey side of owning a dog. They're very guarded about that until the dog dies, and then you see like an overwhelming outpouring of emotion, which I've seen recently. You know, there's been quite a few people that have lost their dogs again recently that are connected with me and friends of mine and colleagues and so forth. And if you know the person well, then they'll talk about it and they'll share a bit more, but females are far more prepared to talk about that. Like they talk about the enjoyment and the love and, you know, the depth of having that intimate relationship with their dog where they really just is something quite overarchingly special for them. Where men are sort of like, oh yeah, I love the dog, you know, he's great, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll sort of close down over it. So that was, when you were telling me about that, I thought that's pretty cool. I'm glad guys are being a bit more vulnerable and opening up a little bit more about it.
They really are, and the emails are beautiful. And I also have a lot of sports people reaching out, and I think the sports people, especially if they're in the sports from a relationship perspective, not just performance perspective, they really love what I'm doing because they're like, if I have a better connection, if I get my dog better, we will be a better team. So some people signed up for coaching now because they're in dog sports and they just want to be more of a team with their dog and understand their dog better and just really enhance their relationship, which I think is bloody awesome. Like, I have the coolest job ever.
The question that you had before, Pat, we didn't answer that one.
Oh, yeah, the biology and the neurology, right?
Well, yeah, no, I do want to go on to that. Like, I want to hear the science of that, just sitting with a dog and being present in the moment. Because like I said, we discussed prior to you putting this together that it is something I do. It's not something that I talk about. I don't teach it as part of anything that is like formal processes. It's just, I spend time with my dog each day. Like with both my dogs, get just a few minutes, but be where it is just me and them sitting together. And I definitely do want to hear about why that works, like what is actually going on there, what's going on in the background. I did want to say, though, like one thing that has been really interesting to me, and since you started this, it's sort of aligned with when you first sent me that PDF, but my oldest son, Rip, he's 10 now, right? Can you believe that? 10 years.
He's such a legend. He's such a cool kid.
I cannot believe it.
Actually, do you know what I've just realized now that I'm saying this out loud? Today that we're recording is the 11th of August, which is actually 10 years since I left the army today. So anyway, Rip, he just turned 10 like 3 weeks ago, and he has never really shown a lot of interest in the dogs. Like most kids, he wants dogs to love him, and he wants his 2 highly trained dogs that he lives in the house with to just do anything that he says. And my dogs both my dogs aren't very social. Like Valerie is social to other people. She likes the company of other people, will say hello. Remy has really no interest in other people. He's only interested in me. And it's a bit like that in the house. Like he sort of lives parallel existence to the rest of my family. He doesn't spend heaps of time with them. He's not very affectionate with them. And of course, Rip wants more of that. He wants more affection. He wants that from the dogs. And I've explained to him numerous times over the last 10 years, like, relationships are give and take, right? Like you can't just expect the dog to give to you everything that you want from the dog unless you're providing the dog stuff. And as is, I provide the dog everything in its life, right? Like I feed the dogs, I care for the dogs, I walk the dogs, I train the dogs. And it's something that I have reluctantly agreed to let him do in the past, right? I'm like, if you want to, you can be a part of this, even though to me that's giving up. Like those aren't chores to me. They're chores to him, but they're not chores at all to me. They're the highlight of my day in many ways, right? Yeah, and the kids don't want chores, right? Kids definitely don't fucking want any chores. But he's finally now at 10 years old just doing those things. Like he just interacts with the dogs, right? And like, he'll come down here, and while it used to be that I have to put one of my dogs away, I train one dog, or I like interact with and I put the other one away. But now he's doing it, right? So like I'm playing with one and he's playing with the other. And immediately total shift in the dogs, right? They see him now, right? Like they see him. And so he gets these moments each day where like what he had in the past with the dogs was what any normal kid has with the dogs, right? Like the dogs like him, they love him, they see him as a pack member, a family member, but they're not that, like they're not seeking him out. And if I'm in the same room, they're choosing me over him. But now I keep catching these really beautiful moments. Like I keep seeing these really like incredible moments where him and Remy just kind of sit together and stare at each other.
Aww.
Just the same way I do. And just for a moment, like it's just a minute, if that, where they're just actually really connected together. And Valerie is even more so because he's able to do a lot more training with her because, she's easier to manage than Remy. And so he's really connected with her. And what's been interesting about it is wrote a whole blog on it back when writing a blog was a thing. I wish that I still had access to that. But for people who are newer to the show, don't know, don't remember, Valerie went through a very weird hormonal phase when Jane was pregnant with Rip. And she went through a false pregnancy that lasted more than 120 days. Like it was ridiculous. Medically, it was a problem. I took her to the vet over it numerous times, but she just would not give up the idea that she was pregnant while Jane was pregnant. She just would not. She's like, no, I'm pregnant too, right? We are both pregnant having this baby. And it wasn't until Rip was born that she was like, I've had my baby. And so we've made all these jokes how it was wild. And I'm aware of how dogs' hormones and the reality of the situation. I know how all that works, right? So like I know that my dog doesn't think that she's his mother and that dogs' maternal instincts don't last for the life of their offspring. It's only like 6 weeks that they actually think of themselves as the mother of that dog. Like I'm aware of all that, right? But she has always had a real protector role over him. It's one of those things that caused me to rethink my position as a trainer many times. I'd hear people say, when people say, oh, my dog's protecting me, and we as trainers go, no, it's not. That's not what's happening here, right? Like, that's not what's happening. She guards the pram, right? Like, when he was a baby, she would guard the pram like fucking crazy. And like, of course, it's resource guarding. Like, as a trainer, we can unpack these things and say, no, this is what's really happening. She sees him as a resource, or she sees the pram as a resource, and no one's allowed near the pram. But for sure, she loved him. And now it's completely different. Like, he's gone from being like, oh, you're part of my life and you're part of the family that I love, so therefore I love you, to now she looks at him and is like, oh, you have a real value to me. Mm-hmm. And what that is exactly, I don't know, but I can see that their relationship has changed. And it's just in the last, I don't know, like months at the max. And it's largely because he did things the training wise that enabled just to be able to sit with the dogs. And so it's been interesting to me to see that, is that like one can't really happen without the other. There has to be, like, the dog has to look to you for a reason and be like, hey, you have value to me. Let's have this moment. And then the moment is of value. But if you don't have value and you try to have that moment, the moment is just uncomfortable, or the moment is actually sometimes stressful, or like it could be overwhelming for the dog because like, hey, I don't see you as somebody I want to connect with. There's pressure. This level.
There's an expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to bring it up and tell you about it because I thought it's been interesting to see the way that he has been able to implement that and the effect that it's been having in just being able to sit with his dog and have those moments of stillness and calmness with them.
I love that. Sorry.
That's cool. It's nice for like a boy and a dog to sort of have a bonding moment, regardless whether it's dad's dog or not. I know how incredibly blessed and special I felt when I was a kid and we had a German Shepherd. And some of the best times I can think of being a kid, we used to live in a place called Belgrave in Victoria, which was very hilly and very woody, sort of mountaintop sort of area. And I used to just fucking love coming home from school and Sheena would be on the balcony waiting for me, or she'd run down. This is when dogs weren't locked up like they are now. She used to run down and meet me halfway when I'd walk home from school, and then she'd walk the rest of the way home from me. I'd throw my bag inside and Mum would say, where are you off to? And I said, oh, I'm going to make a cubby house. I'm going to go and hang out with Sheena. And the two of us would just like tear off into the bush together and we'd be gone. I'd spend all weekend with her, all my times, when my mates had come around, she'd be running around with us. It was amazing. So I get that for Rip. I understand how validated he'd feel that, like the dog sees me, like it's a fucking cool thing.
Yeah.
And for you as a dad, you'd be sitting there going,
yeah, totally. I love it. I've got 1 billion photos in my phone taken non-consensually while they're having these moments.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I think that is the beauty of it, and just tying it back to the neuroscience and the biology of it. These moments are epic for us, for our body, for our development, and this is why I was really hesitant when he created the Happy Dog Rituals, because I'm like, there's such tiny moments, like there are such small moments. But then I realized, small moments chained together create an epic story. They create a baseline. They create a foundation for healthy living, right? And I was so grateful for everyone who gave me feedback on their experience with the Happy Dog Rituals, because it proved that it works. And they can see changes, no matter if they're in sports, whether they have a pet dog, whether they just, have fun with the dog. It does not matter, because in the end, we have a relationship with them. And sometimes we are on autopilot and we forget that. But from a biology point of view, I want to tell you a couple of things that it does. And actually, my website is going to go live. And there is a new PDF on there. And for every ritual that I've created, there is at least 3 scientific research articles explaining why this supports it and how it supports it. So if you're a bit of a scientific nerd and you like it, in the next PDF that's getting published, there will be a lot of science evidence there and research in there, and it will be explained. But from a general perspective, if you do the Happy Dog Rituals, which are based on mindfulness, being in the moment, connection-based, truth-based, boundary-based, what you're doing is you're creating an environment where you can actually relax. Your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in, which shifts the body from like being activated more into a rest and digest mode. So it basically lowers stress. And we know that life will never be stress-free. So the whole job in our life is to have these moments where we can recalibrate ourselves and catch ourselves. And I love that for for Rip that he's learning that right now because dogs are present love. They, we call them unconditional love, but technically it's present love because they are just with you in that moment. If it's fair, it's fair. It's connected, right? So they both have a really beautiful moment of shifting their nervous system. And as a consequence, they most likely reduce their cortisol levels. So you decrease your chronic stress and your inflammation and you support your overall health. Your heart benefits from it. You strengthen your prefrontal cortex. That's a really important part for decision making and emotional regulation and empathy. And we know that especially in the screen prevalent time that this is really important. And what it also does is when you have these moments of rituals for having a happy relationship is that it calms your amygdala. The amygdala is the center in your brain for fear and it's a stress center. So you're also writing or you're training your body to relax on a neurobiological perspective. It boosts your immune function. You get more mood and mental clarity. And besides it, when you have such a deep connection, you have oxytocin, serotonin, all those bonding things. And the long-term benefits are just outstanding. Like I hope that if this takes off and I have more research money, then I'd love to do a study on this because I believe that if people use their dog for daily rituals to de-stress and calm, their health should improve. The mental health markers should improve too. So that in my head, I'm like, if people donate me enough money for a study, I'd love to give this a study. But did that answer your question, Pat?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that what's interesting about what you say there is I think that like there's so many people, we experience them as trainers, right? When you go into people's homes, you could probably speak to way more than me even, Glenn. But when you go into someone's home, you're like, this dog has fucking destroyed your life. Like the people who are completely beholden to their dog in a really gross and unhealthy way. The people who won't leave their dog at home. So they've like completely changed the way that they live their life. They either work from home or they've quit their job or, they've destroyed relationships, all kinds of stuff because they can't put their dog into any level of distress or discomfort to even put it in a crate for a period to begin the crate training to be able to go out. And the people who have, like they're basically beholden to their dog. Those same people very often are being bullied in their home by their dog, right?
Like modern
we've all seen
parenting.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've end up with like I've experienced so many people who, when I look at their whole picture, there's so many times there's certainly been times I have said this, but there's plenty of times I look at a situation and go, you need to get rid of this dog. Like this dog doesn't serve you. This dog is ruining your life. But it's never that it's the dog's fault, or seldom is it the dog's fault. Of course, we get the problem dogs, right? But more often than not, I look at it and I go, you've misread what you're getting from this dog. Like this is a weird dependence, not a like mutually beneficial relationship.
And
like
that's the key because that's how people end up in coaching with me. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So can you expand on that? Because I'm a dummy and you're an expert. So
that is not true. I should have not interrupted you because I wanted to hear your point. But what I'm hearing is that they, in the end, we have the term domestic abuse or violence, right? Certain dogs, they feel like that too, their living situation is not healthy at all. Like people can't go on holidays. They can't, like what you just described. And I'm not a dog trainer that goes home and visits people. I mentally just get them prepared to work with an actual dog trainer that they can do it. And I just show them what unhelpful beliefs they have bought into that got them into that situation and how they trap themselves in their own programming and in their own attachment theory. Like attachment theory is how we bond with other people, how we form relationships. And if you had a shitty upbringing, very often a pet, a dog or a cat is your first safe attachment in the world. It's your sole love, right? And then subconsciously people put all their learning from society over it. And some of it is just false. Like if you, for example, look at Disney movies and you think Disney movies are a representation of what healthy love or relationship looks like, it's not good, And I think that's just so many unhelpful beliefs out there how we should live with our dog and what unconditional love looks like. So my mission is that I train people to not call it unconditional love, but present love. And it should be of mutual benefit. It should be two respected souls meeting together and not just one or the other.
That's a really good point, Birdy.
You think so?
Yeah, the really good point is about the unconditional side. I think we've attracted a wrong narrative when we've spoken to people about unconditional love, because there are times where your dog thinks you're a jerk sometimes too, even though they're very forgiving and they're very malleable and flexible in things. There's times where your dog just thinks, I just want a little bit of alone time. I don't want to be around you all the time. And to Pat's point before, we was talking about the many houses I've visited and the families I've spent time with over the decades that I've been doing this. Like, it's been such a privilege, to phrase something that we were talking about with Melanie Uda as well. Our laboratory is their homes, like going out and seeing how people actually live with dogs and the fundamentals that they actually bring to the table with their relationships, not only with their dogs, but with their children and their spouses.
It's a very intimate scenario.
Well, it's the neighbours, everything.
It's so intimate. It has to be met with so much respect.
100%.
And awe.
Last week, we did an episode where we talked a lot about dangerous dogs and declarations and so forth. A lot of the problems and the reasons that people are having these issues is they primarily have unhealthy relationships with their dogs. The vast majority of people that I go around and see them, I'm thinking, this isn't a good relationship. Like, you're in an abusive relationship. There is a problem here. And they would definitely benefit from coming and spending time with you, because they're in trauma at that point in time, very, very traumatized about what's going on, and extremely traumatized about what's going to happen in the coming days, months, years, with what's going to happen with their involvement with local law and everything like that. So there have been times of recent where I've said to people, hey, I've got a friend that you should actually make contact with. You should be speaking to Birdy. This would be a really good icebreaker for you, because I can see that you're already on the razor's edge, because there's a lot of preparedness you have to do. There's a lot of shift in lifestyle dynamic that needs to be changed here. And if people do that, they actually start to understand what their real relationship should look like with their dog, because not only they don't just hear it from me, because sometimes I can say things till I'm blue in the face and they're still not quite hearing me because they're in that cycle of trauma. The only thing that they're really listening to from me at that time is, how can Glenn dig me out of this issue? Whereas what they really need is somebody like you who is more present to trauma and trained in it, and that can actually sit with them and talk to them and say, there's some other work that needs to be done here. And you're very bound in a particular way of thinking at the moment. And I can help unbind that. I can reduce that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a clinical psychologist, so and I'm a dog trainer, but I don't train dogs. I get people ready to get help to train their dogs most of the time, or they're already in a dog sport. And I think my biggest part of my coaching or my courses is usually teaching people what healthy love actually looks like, even if it is with a dog. And I do feel that certain dogs I teach are like, my dog Luna, she was, for me, one of the biggest teachers in my life, what healthy respect looks like, what boundaries look like, what holding boundaries looks like. Like, some dogs, they just are extra spicy and they challenge you to grow, right? So they're in your life for a reason. And I think they can teach us a lot about how we see our self-worth, our love, how we feel like we have to do something, our expectations that maybe run all the time, or, So I'm a little detective and see how people actually think about love and uncover it.
It's a funny thing how unwilling people are sometimes to help themselves. And I know that because, like in the past, you, me and Pat have spoken about this, or you and I have spoken about this. And, like some people that I've sent to you haven't contacted you, or they haven't taken up the advice when I've said to them, you need to change the lifestyle of the dog, the diet of the dog. I'm just going to lead this into one story. There was a lady recently that her dog was aggressive. It had issues. And, she came and spent some time with me. There was a counsel involved in this. So we had to delicately tread through the legalities of everything. But then it got down to, okay, we've dealt with that. Now you've sort of been released into my custody for training the dog. I sat down and I wrote them a lifestyle program of the things that they need to do. And one of them was changing the dog's diet. We caught up 2 or 3 weeks later for a follow-up lesson. And I said, how's everything going? Like, what have you been doing? Give me a blow by blow. How's your diary looking? Then I want to go through diet. And they kind of said, well, my life's been a bit up in the air. And I said, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear, when you come to me, excuses. And I said, because you're literally under house arrest now. Like I'm a warrant officer to you. Now you have to report to me. You're beholden to me as I am to you. You know, like we have a relationship together where I need to help you do this. Otherwise, primarily, if I don't get hard on you now and if I don't start making some dynamic headway into this, you're literally going to be back where you were or worse. So you have to make the change. So what are we doing about this? And they said, oh, this has happened, that's happened. I said, right, we wanted to make some dietary changes. And I also wanted them to have a product that Narelle has called Stress Ease. For some reason, it just didn't happen. So I said, look, this is not a sales pitch. I'm not trying to pitch you here. I'm not trying to put you in a funnel where you're just buying shit from my wife just for the hell of it. So I said, I'm so committed to this. Here it is. I'm giving it to you. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to give it to you. I want you to take this. I want you to do as I'm asking. Here is, Narelle has written out what the actual procedure is. I want you to do this. But I don't want you to do this just for the hell of it, just for an exercise. I want you to tell me if this is working or not, like if this is making your life better. We caught up again in 3 weeks' time. Fucking hell. Oh, yeah, it works. But that frustrated me. Like I could feel the prickles and the hair on the back of my neck going up, and I was supposed to, like an area where I should have felt relieved, I could just feel this ball of rage like building up inside of me. And I'm thinking, I could fucking kill you right now. Like I was telling you weeks ago to do this because the evidence of everybody else who's doing it comes back and says, yeah, it works. This person needed to do it and they needed to see you. Hopefully they will make the call to you because, this is a recent thing that's happened. So I've just said to him, please, if I'm giving you this advice, it's carefully thought out. It's not just that I'm juggling you off to my list of friends. It's that I know a group of people that would best serve you in the predicament that you're actually in now. We can make this go much easier and enjoy your life much more. So when I've listened to you talking about this and the compassion and the passionate way that you've gone about designing it all and getting the structure and the years, like not only just in your dog training time, but also your clinical psychology that you've dedicated such a huge part of your life to structuring this that you've made it so easy that somebody could literally just follow it along. The hardest part I find for people is taking that initial step. They're just looking for these silly quick fixes. And this is where, frustratingly for many of us, we find that this is where the charlatans in the industry step in. This is where those cultish type people step in and start gouging them and start working them over. What they do is they show them, oh, yeah, I can do this, but then they hand them back the problem again and the problem remains. That's the thing that I get frustrated about, I guess.
Yeah, and it's super complicated because I think, very often the relationship with the dog is just the tip of the iceberg that shows so much how they approach life, right? And I don't think that many people have the ignition to actually go through with deeper programs. Like, if people come to me, their ignition is usually pretty full on, either because they're under so much pressure or pain. It takes a very certain person to be proactive about things, like they're usually a certain personality type too. But in the end, I came to the conclusion it works or it doesn't. If, some people, it's not their time around to do that yet, right? Like I'm getting less and less attached to convincing people they should do it because I'm like, if we align, we align. If we don't, we don't. And I can't, I have so many emails in my inbox that are so stunning and beautiful. That's what I want to focus on. If some person doesn't take me on or doesn't fall through, that's okay too. Healing goes circumambulatory, goes in circles. And sometimes people reached out 2 years ago and now they're coming back. But to me, and this is a very personal view, for me, dogs are one of the most spiritual teachers about love, relationship, boundaries, consistency that you could ever ask for. And I love seeing it that way, but not many people do.
Let me just circle back around to the difference between unconditional and present love. Can you just sort of give me better definitions of that? Like help me understand that a little better.
So for me, unconditional love is, and this is, I have no idea. I didn't look up the definition. This is just what the flavor I see and feel. This is Birdy's version. Unconditional love is like the dog loves me no matter who I am, no matter what I do. I just expect to be loved no matter how I show up, what I think, how I treat, how present I am with them. Dogs are this infinitive source of love. They love me. And a lot of dogs are like that. They do love us. Present love to me is a dog meets you in the moment. And if you can share that moment from heart to heart, soul to soul, mind to mind, beautiful things happen. Whatever you want them to happen. Whether it's sitting still with your son and the dog's and your son have this beautiful moment of connection. That's where the magic happens, right? Or like, for example, my dog Pax loves balls. He loves me dearly because I'm his number one entertainment. But if someone else takes that ball, I am not his number one entertainment. The ball is his number one entertainment. And I was super mad at him the other day because he ran off. Before I came to Glenn's, I set up this really fun sniffing game with him for half an hour in the rain. And I was late and I'm like, no, I'm going to honor you. I'm going to make sure your biological fulfillment has happened before I go 3 days away. And I set it up and he's like, Mom, this is so much fun. I'm going to run off now and create my own rules of games right now. And so he did. And he came back, like he was gone for maybe 10 minutes. He just ran into the bush. I live on bush property. It has no fences. And he doesn't do that very often. And he came back and I just put the lead on. I couldn't be angry at him because in the moment he came back to me, which I've won. So I was like, I'm just going to be neutral. And I put him in his run. But then I was fucking mad at him because I'm like, how the fuck can you put me through so much fear? Because you have zero street smarts. And so present love in that moment was me being angry and him being unaware because he had the best run of his life. And present love in that moment was like, we love each other, but it's not unconditional. Do you know what I mean? It's not always airy-fairy. The consequence was I'm upset at him. I questioned my training, my teachings, what I have to do better. And he was just happy Larry. He's just like, I just had 10 minutes unsupervised run and checked out the neighbor's chicken. Yes, I love it.
Yeah. So, okay. So if I understand correctly, like unconditional love would be that, like I think about that in terms of the only thing I can actually imagine sort of loving unconditionally is my kids, where I sort of say like, no matter what, you can't actually do anything that will make me not love you. And I think that's hopefully the truth. I'm yet to find anything that goes that way. But I think with the present love, then it's just in this moment, we feel this connection, like wholly and fully in this moment.
Unconditional love to me is very often like, no matter what you do, there's no consequence to the love. Right. But for example, with kids very often, like I've raised kids and I can love them, but sometimes I lose trust in them. You know, when they go through a teenage phase and I'm like, is that love when there's no trust in that? And I get confused in my head. So I don't know. Maybe I should look up what unconditional love means.
That's an interesting point you brought up before, Pat. A week before my dad died and I went to hospital to see him, and it was the last time we ever spoke. There was a lot of things that we needed to cover off in a very short amount of time, and one of it was our relationship, and he was quite apologetic about some of the things that happened during our lifetime together. But that's not the point. The point was he was talking about how his mother, my grandmother, him and her had a very turbulent relationship. And he said to me, and I still remember it to this day quite clearly, he said, I love my mother, but I don't like her. I don't like her as a person, but I have a mother-son love for my mother, but I just don't like her. It was one of those moments where the soul sort of gets kicked from your body for a second. Like I sat with it for some time and I was even thinking about it and I was locked into deep thought on the way home that time. And even after he passed and I was thinking about it, and I thought that was an interesting thing to hear my dad say. The reason I am the way I am is because of some of the horrible things that my mother said to me or did to me that created the way that I feel about things some of my life. But it's not that I don't have a, what do you call it, a paternal love? It's not that I don't have a paternal love. It's just that I don't like the person. From my relationship with dogs, I don't know if dogs feel that same way. I don't think that dogs have a love for you but don't like you. I don't know.
Like I was actually just putting it into Google, what is unconditional love versus present love? And the short definition is unconditional love says I will love you across all seasons, even if I'm not in your space right now, even if it doesn't matter what your behavior is. And present love is I'm here in this moment, loving you with my full attention right here, right now. So it's probably with dogs a bit of both, but I do feel that they are master teacher at present love, and you really can deepen their relationship with them if you are in this present moment. But also with humans, even with your partner, right?
I think dogs are the ultimate at keeping you honest to being present. Like these are fun episodes talking about, you know, like, because I think this is sort of the part that we miss when we talk a lot about dog training, right? And like, this is the input that gives you this output. And this is when this happens, you just do this and the dog will stop doing it. And reinforcement works in this way and punishment works in this way. And that's all really true. But I think the next layer to being with a dog, your own dog, is that really understanding like that connection and benefiting from that. And while we provide dogs with a lot, right? Like we are providing living, we're caring for them, we provide food, water, shelter, all of that. Dogs provide, I think, a connection in a way that it's very difficult to get from anywhere else. And I think that exploring the idea of that present love is probably an interesting way to frame it, because I find being present really difficult, right? Like really difficult because my mind goes a million miles an hour. Being in the present is nearly impossible. I've spent so much time in meditation and in my own research trying to understand that all your memories are from the past. My son hit me with one of the funniest things. He finally got me back with one of my own sayings when he said, like, why did you do this? And I said, did I really? Because, maybe all my memories are fake and the world just started right now. And he hit me with one of those yesterday when I was complaining about him getting into the car seat. He was like, no, I never did that. Your memories are fake. The world just was created.
Just gaslighting each other.
That's fucking awesome. You deserve that.
This is from a 4-year-old, right? So I think that being present is so hard because all thoughts of the future is your anxiety creeping, like it's anxiety, and the past is your just memories. Being present is so hard to not be making plans. And because I'm such a fucking planner, and not only am I a planner naturally, I've then have had that turbo attached to that through all my life experiences. And, the worst thing that can happen is you do something obsessively and then you're rewarded for it. And then that behavior just gets 100% ingrained. And so that's why I'm such a planner. But so I find it really difficult to just be. And I think that your dog is the ultimate teacher of that, because that's all they really can be. It's very rare that you get a dog that, unless there's some sort of traumatic instance that you're triggering via conditioned responses, but typically a dog is just like, I'm here right now. I don't give a fuck about what has happened. And the dog is not making plans for the future. They're just like, I'm here now. And of course, you can fuck that up by having a ball present with a Malinois. And suddenly now it does have plans for the future, right? Like it's got big plans about what it wants to do in the future. But when you create these spaces of just being with your dog, one of the things that I'm so ashamed to admit is the case, I find it really difficult even to go like 3 minutes of just being present with my dog without having some other thought about what I'm going to do afterwards.
You're just human.
Right?
You're just normal. That's the baseline. We all struggle.
Yeah.
I teach meditation.
Totally.
I dedicate my life to meditation. I have the same fucking problem.
That's it, right? But that's so amazing to be with the dog who we can't know, but we can assume is just going, this now. This is the best. Like, this is the moment. Yeah. There is no next moment. Fuck what happens next. Like, I don't care about what happens next. This is what's happening now. And especially when you catch yourself in one of those moments with your dog and then you go like, oh, I don't care about what happens next either, right? Like when you just finally get that moment, or you go like, okay, I'm going to sit and we're going to be together. And then suddenly you realize like, oh, fuck, it's been an hour and I haven't done anything productive. We've just been sitting here. I suppose that's like a flow state of a kind where time just disappears and you're in that space with the dog. But I think that's the thing that you're going to pay a fortune to find someone who can teach you to do that. As you say, Birdy, you teach meditation. That's like the goal, right? Is to be able to get rid of that next thought. And that's a lifelong pursuit. But your dog is the master at it today.
And
like
it is
right
helping you and it prompts you, right? And I also think that dogs are quite fun because they, when you, for example, go to hardcore Buddhist meditation, sometimes your posture is not great. They reprimand you and go like, hey, sit up straight or whatever. With my dog, when I meditate with him, it's more that I want the good, yummy thing. Like my expectation is to the yummy things, not so much to the bad things. Like Pax does this super cute thing that when you're still long enough, he will put his forehead on your third eye and he will just sit with you for a couple of minutes, forehead to forehead. But once you experience that, you want more of that because it's so special, right? So I have to catch myself that I don't have expectations when I slow down with him, because I'm like, oh, that feels so good when we're so connected forehead to forehead. And, he's such a, how high he jumps. Like, he has a rocket up his booty. He can clear me to 50 just out of standing. And then he's so calm. It's so pretty. So I have to really go in when I slow down with no expectation and just be, because it's so nice. And I think that's very often what I see when people get too enmeshed with their dogs. It's just like, it's so nice. Dogs are so giving. They're so cuddly. Like, when you're a very sensory person, like the ears can be so fluffy and touchy. And so you all of a sudden go in with a big positive bias.
I'm going to steal John Lennon's phrase, which I have echoed before, and I still think that it's very relevant to the conversation that you two have just had. Time that you enjoyed was not time wasted. To back that up, on the weekend I had a list of chores, things that I wanted to get done, and I ended up spending an hour and a half sitting down watching the chickens while I was outside. I didn't realise that time had gone by. Then I pulled my phone out of my pocket and I thought, oh my God, an hour and a half has gone by. I had all these things that I planned to do. And I thought, wait a minute, I actually enjoyed that. Like, I felt calm and I felt happy. It was in between raining and showering and so forth. And I thought that was actually a pretty cool time, because I was doing some deep thinking while that was happening. So I wasn't wasting time. I was thinking about things. I was in a bit of a flow state. Like, I had all these visions and thoughts and plans that were flowing through me while I was enjoying time watching the chickens. So it wasn't time wasted. But even if I was just sitting there with no visions or thoughts happening, I was still enjoying myself. And I think that's what people forget in this very fast-paced life that we've got, with this super competitiveness that goes on social media, where people are saying, unless you're doing this with your dog, you're a nobody, you're a piece of shit. That's not the case when you're enjoying time with your dog. Like, sometimes I just watch people that come to the resorts when they're dropping the dogs off for boarding or daycare or whatever, and while they're waiting for the office, for the queue to take up and their time to come, sometimes I just see people walking around with their dogs and they just sit down on a log and they're just stroking the dog's ears. And you can just see, like, they love this, the dog loves this, the tactile experience of touching their dog's ears. I think there's too many trainers that get too head up their ass that they don't actually take the time to see that as well. Like, that's a special moment between a person and their dog. I know that you're here and you bring out the ethereal side in both of us, which is great, but we also have to be present to these sort of things, because we all love dogs. Like, I wouldn't have maintained this pathway and I wouldn't have pursued this career so extensively if I didn't have a deep love and a fascination of the life of dogs. And it's not so much the people. I mean, I do love and enjoy the company of certain people, but even if a dog is a fucking villain, I still find comfort in that dog. Like the dogs that other people hate sometimes, I can look at that dog and saying, there's something in you, mate, that I really like. Yeah. Like, I've met dogs before that I've thought, no, you're a There's still dogs. There's still the vast majority of them, the overwhelming majority of them. And especially when I take the dog and the dog is just relieved that I've got it. I've tuned it up a little bit and the dog turns around and goes, oh, it's you. I feel better now because of this, because you've sort of taken control of something that I felt very out of control of, and there was no balance there, nothing that I could sort of get a grasp on, but you've given it to me. When I see other trainers are able to do that, that's where I find great comfort. That's where I find a lot of enjoyment in watching that special talent that people have. I was having a great chat with Casey Kanan last night, just as you went to bed. Mm-hmm. That was Casey who rang me, and we were having a bit of a chat about a few things. And Casey's one of these people, when he puts his mind to it, he has a very good connection with animals. And you have to, if you've been working in circuses with big cats, and especially big cats and so forth. Listening to him talking about a relationship he's got with a dog at the moment, and I thought, that's pretty cool. Like, he was saying some pretty profound things, and I got to the end of the conversation. I thought, that was a great conversation, mate. I really enjoyed that. Like, it was just a nice thing just to not talk about the competitiveness of dogs, but to talk about the enjoyment and the love of seeing things unfolding and the difference that you can make in those connection points. That, to me, is why I still love this industry so much. It's not the people, it's the connections, and especially the dogs. But watching that connection with people and their dogs and bridging that gap between them, that really is a moment where I can feel the whole essence of everything that I love about this. I can really feel it flowing, if that makes sense.
They are very special. Like dogs are a gift. Dogs are just a universal gift for us to have amazing experiences.
Before I forget, I talked about it before with some dogs passing, and somebody who has been just a really amazing person to me, and somebody that she just has this profound way of popping up in my life whenever I'm feeling a little bit down. It's a lady in New Zealand, Monique Rana, just a lovely, lovely person. And she had, up until recently, a dog, Apache. Her dog, Apache, she had carcinomas, I think, in her eyeballs, where the dog lost one eye, then she lost another eye, and she was doing great things with her. She was working with spatial awareness with the dog, even though the dog had lost both its eyes. She was showing me videos of the work that she was doing with the dog and how amazing this dog's life still was, missing both her eyes. But recently the dog suddenly passed away, and I know that Monique is suffering intensely. Like, she put a huge amount of work into Apache, but not just the work aside, that was her heart dog. She just loved that dog. Monique, I know you and I have chatted. Pat, you've probably chatted to her as well. She's an incredible person, and I just want you to know that I'm deeply sorry for you, as I am with anybody else who feels that beloved connection with their dogs, because, you know, I've felt it so many times myself. It's a crushing time, and a time that you feel like you'll never regain that breath. Like, you just feel like I can never breathe that easy again. You do in time, like you feel better and time passes and you're able to think about the dog again, and you're able to laugh about it and think on the memories and remember what it was like to have it as a puppy all the way up till the last day. Nonetheless, it's a very difficult time in everybody's life. So, Monique, I just want you to know that we're all thinking of you, and I hope that you can soon think more on the fondness of the times that you had with Apache rather than the difficult times at the end.
Birdy,
Yes.
what's next? What's next to come?
Well, my site's live. So there's a really cool 10 ritual PDF there, how to have more fun and more connection with your dog.
Well, pitch it again. What is it?
It's a PDF with 10 rituals that you can do with your dog to increase the connection with your dog and the joy with your dog and to have more present love with your dog. I'm going to announce on the website a couple of other things. So the best thing is to sign up on the newsletter. And also, if you have already done the happy dog rituals, I'd love some testimonials.
Yeah.
If people could send me testimonials by email, hello@themagicindogs.com, I'd appreciate it, because I'm still fine-tuning my website. But what's coming is I'm creating a membership platform where people can just share their joyful moments with their dog and their rituals. It's just like a fun kind of like Facebook group where people just have happiness. Like, the motto of the Magic in Dogs is happy dogs, happy humans. And that's what I want to do. I want that dogs and humans have a happier time. Don't care about your background. Don't care if you're in sports. Don't care about who you are with your dog. I just want that you have the best life with your dog and that you honor each other.
Amazing. Give us the website one more time.
Themagicindogs.com. That's it.
Perfect.
How's your course going, Pat?
Mate, it's going good. People are getting in there. I was so scared to release that course just because I hate sales. Like, I'm a dog trainer, right? I really enjoy training dogs, and I really enjoy teaching people about training dogs, and I hate the process of selling stuff. But I'm doing it. I'm making sure that I'm sending the emails and I'm telling people about it and all of that. But I'm really happy. I think that the feedback from the course is exactly what I had hoped. People are finding it to be exactly what I wanted to be, which is a one-stop shop of a foundation of knowledge from a very broad spectrum that serves you no matter where you go. Like, that's what I've tried to create, and the feedback is that I have. So I'm really happy about it.
Well done.
There's probably links everywhere. There's probably links in the show notes or something if anyone wants to jump in on that, or shoot me an email. I can
pitch it.
Link you up.
Throw your socials down.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so seriousdogbusiness.com is the website. If you go to that, you'll see all the things. And the best way to do it, like, chances are, if you've been listening to the podcast, you know me, you know how I speak. And so chances are, if the value proposition feels right for you, then jump in. But if you want to learn more, on the website, you can go into, like, there's a free section, and there's a lot of The free section serves two parts. The first is to show you how I teach and give you a taste of what's in there. But then also there's just some stuff that I just don't think should be behind a paywall. Like I just think that it should be there. So like there's info on box feeding and stuff like that. Stuff that I just think here's the free info and there's a good chance this is going to radically change the way you and your dog interact. So you can jump into that. It's totally free and then consider coming into the full course and joining that community would be great. But like I said, I'm really, really happy with it. It's took me 2 years, 2 fucking years to get it.
Do you know why I think you're
really
so nervous about initially releasing it? I believe that you seared some of your soul into that course.
Oh, 100%. Well, that's the problem, right? So like in the end, when I was trying to figure out what to call it, I had no choice but to just call it Everything Pat Knows. So it's the dumbest name. Like it's the dumbest name for a course, but I just was like, that's all it is. It is that. And the plan is to grow it. Like it's a one-time purchase, access for life thing. And so it's kind of the final thing anyone can buy from me because I'm just going to keep, if I know something to the degree that I feel like I can teach it, I'll make the module, it'll go into the course.
I actually like the names that you come up with things because you don't package it up in this great big wank bank of shitty information that I see other people do. Like, like they'll have the low down dynamics of serious dog trainers or something like that. Like you just have these
5 pillars of success.
Yeah, it's not just the normal, like it doesn't sound like it came out of a fucking investment banker's boardroom or something like that. It sounds like you give fun names to things. Like even the fact that you called your dog training company Serious Dog Business. Like I always come away from that thinking Pat comes up with some pretty funny names that really resonate. Like I like the fact that you do that sort of stuff. It's different and it's quirky and it's very you.
It is so true. Do you know that Narelle named my business, right?
Narelle named your business?
Yeah, the Magic in Dogs. Narelle named it.
How? Tell me.
Well, I said I want to talk about the magic, about dogs, and then all the names were taken till Narelle put a genius to it and she's like, what about the Magic in Dogs? And I'm like, it's available. It's a winner.
Yeah, nice.
Perfect.
So, yes.
That's the hard part about naming any business, right? Is you're like, yeah, good idea, but someone else had that idea 4 years ago. They registered the name. They haven't done anything with it, but the name is registered and you can't have it. You're like,
pretty much.
Oh. Yeah, okay. It's like the old lady on Instagram whose name is Pat Stewart. You know that? Yeah. So I can't remember the details, right? Bear with me. I'll make them up, but they're close enough. But like the Instagram handle Pat Stewart is taken. And it's like some old lady with 3 followers and follows like 7 people and has never posted anything. I think I like looked in the last login was like in 2017 or something like that. So like I can't even contact the person because I wanted to buy it. I was like, hey, I want that my name as a handle without having to put an underscore or dots or anything like that. Can't even get in contact with her to buy it. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I had to do the same for Insta.
Why I'm Pat Stewart _
Yeah. I had to do the same. It was silly. I just had to do a Glenn Cook trainer.
See, I have an apostrophe in my name and I disable banks for weeks because my apostrophe fries
you told me
everything.
last night. That's just wild.
So, yeah.
Damn Irish names. They're good.
Hey, I'm such a mud as a person. I don't care. Who knows? But it's so nice being back on here. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm also really grateful for everyone who asked for the free Happy Dog Rituals. Keep asking about them. Share it. It will be for free on the website. And thank you.
So I told Birdy before we switched the mics on that Casey wants a sleep track from Birdy because he finds her voice so relaxing that he said, I can't listen to it while I'm driving the car or else I'll fall asleep and drive off the road. There could be. I know Larry Crone wanted a recording.
Larry Crone went to. Apparently, my accent and my voice is the thing to be. Look, if you want to have a coaching session and I just read out of a book for you or whatever you want me to read, sure, I don't care.
Book it in.
You can book the hour.
Yeah, you can book that.
Magicdogs.com.
Yep.
Also, if you want to have coaching for the Happy Dog Rituals, feel free to book a coaching session. And I do not care how many people are part of this coaching session. So if you want to book it for your whole training committee or for your friends, for your family, I do not care. Like the teachings are the same no matter how many people listen. My mission is that the dog-human connection is magical.
Yeah,
so
that's
the
cool.
more the better.
I had something completely different I wanted to talk about for this session, but I enjoyed this conversation more.
Thank you.
Come around to it next time.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Another episode, Canine Paradigm. As always, if you like what you hear, just like, rate, share, subscribe. Do that through whatever subscription service you download us from, and then go to another one, do it there. You're allowed to. No one checks.
And don't forget to do that for Birdy too, because when people are starting off on a new business, it's great to give testimonials, especially valid ones, like real ones that you mean. It's fantastic for them to be able to not only increase the chances of being seen, like Pat was saying before, but that's something not to take lightly. Like if you have enjoyed her PDFs and you have enjoyed her services, don't just ring her and say, hey, that was awesome. Like give her a gift of going on to Google or Facebook or Insta.
Just an email. Just send me a testimonial with email.
Yeah, perfect.
Or share it on Instagram. I'm not much on Facebook. I dislike Facebook, but I'm on Instagram. So anything is appreciated because the more attention I get in the best, kindest way, the bigger it can be and the more magic for the dogs there will be.
While you're doing that, just jump onto the Canine Paradigm. Do one for me and Pat too.
Yes.
That'd be really cool.
They're the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
So if you want to support the show, best way to do that is after you've gone to Birdy's website and signed up there, you can go to Patreon. You could give us a few bucks a month. That gives us access to a giant backlog of information as well as new stuff going forward. But you could pay more. You could pay $10, go to the live stream every month where I just answer questions for 2 hours. Or
you can go and shake your kids
better,
down. You can just go into their room and steal their piggy bank and throw it on the concrete out on the floor and just fleece all the fucking cash, run down to their fucking bank and just say, look, give this all to Pat and Glenn right now.
Do you have a tractor yet?
No, I don't have a tractor yet. Daddy needs a tractor.
Doesn't have a tractor yet.
No.
Glenn needs a Lamborghini tractor.
Yeah. I'm exactly the cost of a tractor away from getting a tractor.
I'm only one unit of tractor away from having 1 unit of tractor.
Yeah.
All right. So do that. Buy Glenn a tractor.
Yep.
If you want to get in touch with us, the best way to do that is to jump into the Facebook discussion group. You can group source information in there. There's lots of people having civil conversations. It's one of the few places left on Facebook where that's still happening. But if you want to get in touch with us directly, shoot us an email.
Wait, we didn't even talk about T-shirts and tapestries.
Oh, yeah. So if you want a T-shirt, one of our T-shirts or a wall tapestry, or what else do we sell? Underpants, socks, water bottles?
Fanny bags.
So many interesting things.
There was a lady in in the United States, Valhalla Dog Training, I think she's called,
Yes,
unwrapping.
Tori.
I
love Tori.
Unwrapping a tapestry and doing a dance with it and everything like that.
Tori's amazing.
Yeah.
I love Tori.
I posted it.
Where do I see that?
I put every time somebody highlights a story with the Canine Paradigm, if they link us to it, I put it in our stories. But yeah, Valhalla Dog Training, her name is.
Yeah, Tori is one of your biggest fans and amazing. And an incredible dog trainer.
Cool. Yes, thank you, Tori. I appreciated that. And like I said, if you do a story about the Canine Paradigm, I immediately put it on our stories. If I see it, it's up. I like to share our dog training community on our community.
Same with the Magic in Dogs. I share it too.
Yes. Do that.
Okay, perfect. All right, I think that's it. Hope your dog lives forever. Goodbye. I think that's quite the first.